Eidl grants are finally getting paid. The remainder of your $10,000 Eidl grant is being paid. People who applied in 2020 are getting the remainder of their $10,000 Eidl grant paid. An SBA.gov email will land in your email box or spam folder, check that as well, in which it invites you to prepare to file the documents needed to get the remainder of your $10,000 Eidl grant. Meantime, 2021 applicants will be able to apply for the Eidl grant under the second stimulus package, currently law, and the third stimulus package when it's law as well. Enjoy this throwback video in which I explain the Eidl grant, the Eidl loan, which is currently live as well, and how to apply and how to get funded. It's one application for both, but make sure you answer the questions appropriately. Enjoy this throwback video on the Eidl. A second stimulus package deal is likely to get approved within 2 days. So what does that mean about your Eidl money, and will there be more PPP loans? Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Evenings LALate. Hope you're good and safe. This is Tuesday evening with bombshell news right before on this video. LALate evenings always start at 6:45 with the check and then come to Eidl at 7:15. But the video right before this was, wow, there is now indication that a second stimulus check deal will be formulated within the next 1 to 2 days. Really shocking details. If you haven't watched that video, please do. But what I want to talk about in this video is, what does that mean for Eidl? What does it mean if you have a loan, you want to get a loan, you want to get another loan for another business? And how about PPP? So let me get right to it. There apparently are talks, and apparently there's confirmation that both sides propose a new round of PPP money that apparently would be a little bit more simple, would be additional, would give you additional liquidity. So I know a lot of my Eidl viewers also have PPP, and this is something you need to listen up for. So apparently both the Democrats and the Republicans understand that liquidity and loans are very needed, and they're more needed now than everyone ever thought before. And because of that, apparently when we see the second stimulus package debut, it's like on Broadway or something. When it debuts, it's going to have another round of PPP in it, but done a lot simpler. And it may be devised in a different way. There may or may not be something for Eidl in there. Now, what is very strange is that PPP was not in the HEROES Act, nor was Eidl. But the bill that's going to get passed is the HEROES Act. So apparently they may have modified things. Chuck Schumer, in a quote I delivered minutes ago in the earlier video, said, "We made concessions, they made concessions." What were the concessions? Well, the Republicans were pushing for PPP, more money. I don't know about Eidl. And Eidl sort of seems as that thing that's out there is very confusing, especially as this horrible hurricane has really ravaged the East Coast, now a tropical storm causing a path of destruction. And that destruction is on top of people who've lost their businesses or their businesses were in trouble. And SBA normally loans money for disasters like a tornado or a hurricane like that. So everything is getting a little bit peculiar very quickly for lending instruments. A report I detailed on Mornings LALate and this afternoon's broadcast as well detailed that a lot of people wanted PPP but never got to it because they did not have a formative relationship with a lender. And so apparently there's a lot of you out there. What I need you to know is that PPP and Eidl do sort of work together, that one requires you to disclose the other, that both are instruments through SBA, and that ultimately you need to decide which one is better for you. Now, there is this there is a sort of confusing environment as to how high you can go on an EIDL loan. And I've done this video, I've done it every single day this week about, you want to negotiate the loan higher. And I got to tell you why. Because the overwhelming remarks I'm getting about EIDL in the last week are one of two. One is people who never knew about EIDL. If you never heard about it and you're thinking about getting a loan for what you need, it's sba.gov. And you go to the coronavirus COVID-19 section and you see a streamlined application, you apply right there. Or people who say, hey, I got that loan, but I need more money because I got to survive to next year. And so a lot of people, including the two mentors in the private, if you've never been to the private, it's not an amusement park. It's in the description below. It's a private Instagram account. You go in there and you learn so much information, and you have two mentors that help you, but both the mentors are trying to increase their loans amount because people think that they need more loan money going forward. And so the overwhelming consensus now, including whether it's, the former head of Starbucks, in my earlier video I quoted him, or another analyst who I quoted in the morning, there's a very big move by a lot of people to get loans right now because they don't think there's enough liquidity going into January. They're concerned their businesses need that extra push to exist. And so if you do need EIDL, if you do need PPP, keep your eyes open. What I'm asking you to do with me is tell me where you need EIDL and if you need PPP to go somewhere in topics on this channel once the stimulus package is approved. Because I initially did some PPP videos. I didn't do a lot. I did a 1,000 and something EIDL videos. They just went, covered absolutely every single thing you could cover with EIDL. And now it's sort of a mixture of this new entry of people trying to get loans, people who are going back with their loans to fix them and get more money. The number of people who are trying to fix existing loans is getting smaller because we've done so many. I mean, there's about 1,000 people in the private. We did about 10 loans a day, so we did a lot of them. The demand to fixing old loans from March, April, May has really sort of contracted. So we are fixing some June applicants now in July. But as you go forward, where is the issue for you? Now, if you're looking to increase your EIDL loan, it's based upon your calculation of your lending amount. So, and that's based upon your 2019 numbers. You look at gross rev minus cost of goods sold divided by 2. It's a calculation that draws from your line 1, your line 2 of your 2019 return. It doesn't matter if you're an EIN, an LLC, an Inc., or an individual. You look at that schedule and you see line 1 will say gross rev, and you see line 2 will say cost of goods sold. And you do the calculation. Here's one question. Someone asked me yesterday, he's like, my cost of goods sold is 0. And it was like an equipment manufacturer. I'm like, okay, that's some strange accounting there. And ultimately, my answer was, hey, if it's 0, you list 0. But SBA may say, why the hell is it 0? It doesn't make sense that 0. A lot of you have strange accounting. And I got to tell you, if you have strange accounting, SBA is going to give you the same look I'm giving you right now. It's like, this accounting is really weird. So some of you are like, putting 5 different businesses on one Schedule C, or one person said he puts his LLC's income on his Schedule C, which, okay, it's all sort of strange. But if you know how to get through that, and there we go. When we see the second stimulus package, what I want you to understand is that there's going to be a lot of stuff there that doesn't conflict with EIDL. And I know I'm getting that question, so I'm answering it now. You're like, does this conflict? And I've answered that. I've answered that. What's your FICO score? Don't ask me what the FICO score is. PUA does not conflict with EIDL, but you can't really be it doesn't conflict with PPP. It does conflict with PPP. The PUA doesn't conflict with EIDL. FPUC doesn't conflict with EIDL. Stimulus check doesn't conflict with EIDL. Hazard pay doesn't conflict with EIDL. Hazard pay people can be independent contractors. It says it in the hazard pay bill. Now, I gotta tell you, hazard pay could turn into the next EIDL. I've warned the hazard pay viewers. I sense, I just really, it's coming out of my button that keeps on getting unbuttoned that gets 55 comments an hour. It's like hazard pay just feels like it's gonna be the next EIDL. He didn't process it right. The numbers were wrong. The employer didn't do it. The application didn't work. I just sense it's like gonna be the Hot Mess Express is gonna make a left turn at Javita's office and go down Hazard Pay Avenue. I just sense it. Maybe it won't. Maybe it absolutely wonderful. But hazard pay does not conflict with EIDL. So if you're an independent contractor and you're also an essential worker, you can go get some hazard pay. But how you don't apply for it, your employer applies it for it. So I just sense this is all going to go very. It's going to get very complex. It's going to get very complex. Rent eviction moratorium and hazard pay doesn't conflict. This is EIDL, dude. I'm confusing which video we're on. Has rent eviction moratorium and EIDL don't conflict. So if you get rent help, it does not conflict with EIDL. If you get utilities help, it does not conflict with EIDL. If you get a rent eviction moratorium, it does not conflict with EIDL. If you get a loan for a mortgage forbearance, which means they can't foreclose on your home or your apartment building, it does not conflict with EIDL. All these things are sort of important to remember. It's the most important thing to remember. Well, there's two. One, you got to like and subscribe. And this other one is you got to know your Experian Vantage 3.0. Now, which of these agencies are going to use which credit score lending instrument? I don't know. But that woman with the scarves, she only uses Experian Vantage 3.0. So download the app, call up Experian, ask for your Vantage 3.0 score. If it's low, get those adverse entries off of there. What are adverse entries? There are negative entries that really shouldn't be on there. Do the boost, BOOST, where you ask to increase your credit score, and they do it for free. It jumps it up 20 points. And watch the videos. I mean, I had 4 people in the private overnight asking me what Experian Boost is. I'm like, not only is it described in the introduction to the private and the introductory remarks, I've done videos about it, and I still have people really not, understanding that SBA doesn't just lend to anyone. You have to have a decent credit score. So it makes me confused that people really are not taking the time to watch a video about a loan and just assuming they're going to get a loan, which is, maybe they get lucky like that with other stuff, but not with loans. I mean, this is not late night at the disco. It's just not happening that way. So when you go through this process, make sure your credit score is up. I mean, it just makes it easier on you. It makes it easier on the process. And so 590 or higher. I don't know what's going to happen with everything else. I don't know with all these other instruments where it's going to go. But get that credit score up because you're going to need the credit score up. Just don't be messing around with your credit score in the middle of a pandemic. SBA did those horrible things early on. I reported them where they're hitting people's credit and it was dropping 60 and 100 points. Boy, I remember those videos. I remember those videos back in April and May where people said that SBA hit their credit score 10 times, and I told them to call Experian and get it off. Unfortunately, a lot of those people, moved on, and I don't know where they are, and I never see them in the comments anymore, so I never know what happened to them in getting those things off. But there were those at the time that said, I told them get it off, and they got them off. So you can get those things off. So boy, a lot of stuff. If you want to get a loan, go to sba.gov. Streamline application under COVID-19. If you want to know how to do the application, watch the video from Saturday or Sunday. I go absolutely through actually I did 2 days. I did Saturday and Sunday. Watch the videos. They're short. They're 14 minutes long. Watch the videos and explain to you how to go through the application. If you think you can do it yourself, go for it. You're fine. But if you want to just watch 14, 15 minutes before you do it, even better. And with the videos, you can always hit the closed captioning buttons, that CC, so you can read it on the screen if you're filling out the form you're filling up the form. And finally, like and subscribe. On Sunday, I had asked some help to get us to 130. Incredible. And you did it. Thank you. I mean, we got to 130,000 subscribers on Monday, which is exactly 100 days, which is a record for YouTube. No one has ever seen 130,000 subscribers in 100 days. On Monday, we asked to have you help get us to our next goal, 150,000 subscribers by next Monday, which is 20,000 more. And the good news is we already got 7,000, almost 8,000, and we're on Tuesday, so we're moving really fast. So if you haven't, go to the front of this channel, and where you see a subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. Next to it is a bell. Hit that bell, because what happens is that if you are interested in knowing when the check is approved and how I'm going to get the check and what I got to do the check, you need to stay in tune, and I want you to stay in tune. And so that will give you an alert every time we send out a message to say, hey, the video's coming up, the video's coming out. It's a great way to stay together, stay informed, stay educated, and stay at LA for more.